For our final composition, we are putting together our self-portrait, some imagery and maybe text, and then we're starting to really put that composition together on our plate. So right here I have my portrait already printed out. I'm going to set that here. And then I'm just putting together right now my quote and some of my imagery. So I have a quote that says, "Grow through what you go through," and then I'm starting to put some flowers around it to emulate the growth. And I'm probably going to have to add more even after this video, but I just want to kind of get the basis of what I'm hoping to achieve. So right now I'm drawing my flowers, and I'll show this to you guys. So grow through what you go through, and that's my positive concept. And now I need to figure out how this is all going to get placed on my plate. So here I have my portrait. It's fairly large, so I have to figure out how do I fit this large picture of me on this plate. And then I have some imagery, and again, I need to add some more flowers and figure out where that's all going to fit on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut this paper down so it's not so big, and that will allow me to kind of place this stuff on my actual plate how I want it. And then I need to figure out, I'm just going to cut my portrait down just right around my portrait so I don't have any of that background space, but just my portrait itself, and see if that helps me figure out where it will fit nicely. And I think that's a good starting point for everyone, just to cut everything down to its bare minimum. And now I don't have so much background space, so I have a little bit more space by my shoulder. And remember, if you have your portrait come up on a ledge like that, just be aware it's going to be a little bit harder to trace. So if you want something easier, you want to keep it flat in the center, but that can cause issues if you need to wiggle stuff around. So I am going to challenge myself and kind of go up on the corner here a little bit. So now I kind of know where I want my face, and then I can cut this excess down here off that I'm not going to use, or I can just leave it, it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to start to place my grow through what you go through. Now the curve of this flower can go right on the curve of my plate, and that would look really nice. So I think I'm going to do that and set that right there on the curve. And then I'm going to start to think about what other flowers can I add. And I'm just going to draw them on this scrap paper that I already have, and just add a few more flowers. I might overlap some flowers on top of my portrait a little bit. Again, just really talking about growth and growing through the things that we endure or go through. And then each little flower I make, I can just cut that out and add that to my composition. And in the end, what should happen is that my whole plate is filled with all the things that I'm going to trace onto it. And then if you remember, when you're tracing, you're pressing your pencil into either a dull pencil or the mechanical pencil. You push the lead all the way in, or you can even use a pen as long as it has like a rounded tip, not a pointy tip. And I can start, I'm going to move my portrait so it doesn't interfere with anything, and I'm just going to start with my grow through what you go through, and then I'll show you guys what this looks like. And if your plate is really wet, you're going to have a harder time with this. Like my plate's not very wet, and I'm already kind of poking through my paper a little bit. So I might need to dull down my pencil a little bit, or just slow it down. Don't press so hard. So I'm just tracing over my letters. It's really helpful to make sure that you write out your letters before you trace them in so that they're even, they're exactly placed where you want them to be. A lot of times I have students write letters and words around the circle, and they like stop right here, and then there's like nothing in that section of the plate. So make sure that you are intentional about where things are going, because that could make or break the composition of your plate. Okay, and then I will show this to you as I'm wrapping it up. Okay, so now, and it might be hard to see on, yeah, it is going to be hard to see, but it's right here. So you do see some marks right there. And that's the same as our sgraffito tile, so hopefully that's helpful to you. I would advise when you're doing your portrait to actually use like a red pen or some type of pen. Go over the lines that you're planning on tracing first, and then go and do that onto your paper or onto your clay. That way you already kind of know the lines that you're going to trace into your project. Because a lot of times people will rush it and then they have like a weird like butt-shaped nose, or like their mouth comes out to here because they just make accidents and they're just going too quickly. So if you need help, bring your portrait to me. I would love to help kind of outline what you should be outlining into your project, and then we'll get started with that. All right, that's all I've got for today. Best of luck. Make some really nice compositions.